Good morning, this is Stuart from We Sell Homes in Paradise, down on the beach for another Beachside Broadcast. Now, this broadcast is me being in solution mode, and the problem at hand is how to make housing more affordable for young people. Now, my two biggest beliefs is that technology and free markets solve problems. So on the first point, I've thrashed this whole idea out with Ara, the Grok AI agent, who's helped me really channel my thoughts and articulate how to put them together. Really powerful tool. Now, how was this inspired? So we're currently doing a search for a young person who has applied for the Garantia Vivienda Joven program, which municipalities are doing to help get young people 100% mortgages with collaborations with banks so that they can go out and find something and obviously get on the housing market. But when you try and help people, unfortunately, it ends up not helping them in the end. And I'll tell you why. The problem is people can't afford homes. So if you stimulate the demand by giving people access to funding, what it actually does is it moves prices up because we're not solving the underlying problem, which is the supply. So as an example, the budget's $250. We've been running searches here in Torrey and nearby in local towns like San Enrique. Two things are on the market for this budget, okay? And that's on the MLS, our multi-listing system, a trusted source of finding properties, legitimate properties. Two things only. And what will happen, stimulus is like a magnet. If you provide funding, what happens is the market moves up. Because obviously, with a greater money supply, I keep talking about this, you inflate prices. It's as simple as that. The underlying problem is the supply. And reading the small print for this program, I wish it was tied to actually buying new properties. Now, can you find affordable new properties? No, you can't, because they're building here on the coast. We have the Acciona development up on the hill, and we have perhaps another luxury new development happening in Torre Guadalajara. If you look in Estepona, you're looking at price points of 2 bedrooms at $500,000, okay? But that's a good thing. And you're gonna hate me for saying this. That is a good thing. Why? Because the people that can come here to afford things, they are actually going to be the ones that pay the taxes to municipalities. They're actually going to be the ones that stimulate local economies by velocity of money, by using restaurants, using services, and we need a strong, sustainable local economy. And the statistic is the top 10% pay 50% of taxes. So we need the top 10% here, buying in these prime locations. Now for young people, I'm afraid you need a bit of a reality check, okay? You either need to increase your sacrifice or decrease your expectations. When I was young, working in banking, my first job, I lived in a cubbyhole above my sister's kitchen, okay? I had no visions of grandeur that I would live by the beach or in central London, okay? The first place I lived was in Bethnal Green, and then I lived in Brixton. So similarly here, if you're a young person trying to get on the housing market here, please expect it's not going to be prime locations. I'm thinking San Enrique, or San Roque town. So the idea I've coined is called 10, 10, 30, 50, 100. Repeat after me, 10, 10, 30, 50, 100. And the idea is based around being able to build affordable housing for 100,000 euros all in. Now I'm imagining these houses would be 40 meters squared. So that's 2,500 per square meter, which is not unachievable, okay? If you were to buy land or brownfield sites and say around San Roque town and get those zoned to be urbanizable, probably cost you about 20 euros per square meter, okay? The other thing is you could look at prefabricated houses, which are obviously cheaper and you can build in volume, or perhaps putting 3 40-foot shipping containers together, which gives you a 40 meter squared footprint. And then you can clad it, you can then insulate it, put solar panels on it, and you could create a little young person's village, perhaps with co-working spaces, a communal barbecue area, so it creates some form of community. but all in 100,000. Okay, that's the idea. Now, the 10-10-30 part. Well, I believe that anybody who wants something needs to have skin in the game. So the young person has to come up with 10,000 euros, okay? 10,000 as the initial deposit. The municipality will then match that 10,000 euros. The developer will put in 30,000 euros. So you have 50% of 100,000. And as we know, developers can get funding from banks when they have 50% of the actual funding together, okay? They then go to banks who will fund the rest of it. They then build. Now, during construction, there'll be some payments by the young person, and at the end, the mortgage to the developer will be subrogated to the actual end buyer, okay? And probably on good terms. 100,000 at today's rates over 30 years, you're looking at between 300 to 500 euros a month, which I believe is affordable. Now, what I like about this idea is, maybe real estate is not the greatest investment, but it keeps up with inflation. But for a young person, it's forced savings. That's why I love properties for young people, because it teaches them a discipline to pay their mortgage every month, and it does build equity. And I would imagine these properties will go up over time. Now, of course, the municipality will have to do some other things like create better transport links and things like that. But essentially, we've taken an idea and delivered it to the open market so that they can actually do the numbers and run it efficiently, rather than government subsidies where they give out money to young people to go and find properties in a very short supplied market. So the whole idea is to make it affordable and increase the supply of affordable homes through building. And I'm sure it could work. And the best thing to do in life is take ownership. Let the private sector figure out a way to make this workable. And I think it's a good idea. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just a dreamer. But you never know.